Have you ever tried to tell another person your story of personal pain, especially someone who's not very close to you? Have you ever felt like your story sounds hollow or petty as soon as you begin to recount it to someone else, even though the experience was deeply agonizing for you? If you have, then you know the feeling of emptiness when you realize the other person simply cannot appreciate your pain. In moments like these, when the gap in understanding is so deep and wide, it may seem easier to just stop explaining and suffer in silence. Nobody likes having their suffering minimized by someone's inability to empathize and feel their pain. And no one should ever have to be put in position where they need to justify why life hurts. In these situations, God alone understands what we're going through. It's sad but true that the only time our hearts reach out to heaven seems to be when other solutions are hard to find, when we have come to the end of our proverbial rope. Everyone suffers, but the history of the chosen people is best understood through the lens of national suffering. The Jewish people on the holidays have a saying, "They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat." It is tender, touching, and true. So much of Jewish life tells the story of survival, celebration, and remembrance. The phrase "never again," declared in remembrance of the Holocaust, is a mantra that befits the Jewish experience and helps to seize the future with defiance and hope. The Jewish people were enslaved, persecuted, oppressed, and virtually destroyed on multiple occasions throughout their history. In the face of this persecution, the prayers, poems, and songs of the chosen people encourage them to turn toward God, who is above and beyond all, who gives meaning to the pain and suffering that would otherwise be meaningless. The mourner's Kaddish, for instance, is a magnificent, eloquent, and hopeful prayer that is mistakenly understood as a prayer for the dead. The opposite is true. It is a prayer of praise to God for life itself. The Kaddish is life-affirming, and it is at the heart of the Jewish response to suffering and death. It lifts the heart as the words glorify God and extol the virtues of His divine perfections. The prayer gives voice to suffering by reaffirming acceptance of His plan, both personally and as a people. Acknowledgement of God's sovereignty enables us all to be thankful to God in the face of great loss and the worst kind of human pain. We might understand suffering today in deeper and more profound ways than ever before. COVID-19 has shattered many of our lives in so many ways. Some of us have even, unfortunately, lost loved ones. We have also recently witnessed terrible floods, earthquakes, and wars that we thought we would never have to fight again. Yet we can have hope in the midst of suffering. Bitterness, hopelessness, and anger are self-destructive options, but there is a whole range of life-affirming choices that we can make. We might never quite understand the why of our pain, but we can still find peace in the suffering. We can find it when we entrust our souls to the God who made us. The story of Jesus, as told in the four Gospels, is worth reading, as in it you will find and see how the God of the universe chose to suffer on our behalf and ultimately repair the damage brought about by our sin. In fact, He clothed Himself with humanity. He endured pain and loss and injustice just like we do. More than that, He died for our sins and rose from the grave to pave a new way into the presence of God for us. His suffering is the ultimate comfort for our suffering. And this new and personal relationship with God through Yeshua the Messiah will become your greatest source of joy and ultimately give meaning to your suffering.